Okay, we're learning together here. I think we're up to the dollar. No, we didn't. We finished the square brackets of Vayz Gimel. So we won't repeat that square brackets because that took the whole shear yesterday. So just get the flow minus the square brackets. So he's saying he's answered many of the questions already. Actually, all of them. Namely, the pasuk is implying that Hachodesh ניסן is not just the first month, but additional Lochem l'chod, which is implying also Hamshocha, that ניסן affects and influences all the other months of the year. Not just that it should be reckoned as month number one, but it influences all of the months of the year. And surely that's what Tishrei is, which is why it's called Rosh Hashanah. Now the word Rishon also includes the word Rosh, obviously. So there's a contradiction here. The answer is that the two different Giluyim of Gadlus Hashem both point to, what's the Chiddush here? That even bringing from the Baal HaKedah, what was the Chiddush of the Baal HaKedah in the Ifna Aleph? Have a look, tell me.
Teva is always constant.
And therefore
it shows on the inside the legal component of
you're right, that even though B'chalal we're talking about Mamale on the one hand and Ifna Beis is Seirah, nonetheless, Mamale Kalalme, and even looking at Teva, you can see the Nitzchias, you can see the Bligvul. Both of them, therefore, as in the words of the Maimer, convey Gedula Sabayra. We learned in the previous Maimer that Gedula is Bligvul. So that's the answer to all the questions, that these two Eifanim, the Gedula in Teva and the Gedula that is beyond Teva, the Ein Sof Mamish, which is manifested in Teva and in Nisim. So they're the two beginnings. Rosh Hashanah is Takadam Shocha Klolis, and he went into detail for Teva and Malak Alalmin, and the Amshocha and the revelation, however, of Ein Sof HaBligvul, undisguised and uncompromised, manifested in Nisim. This is Rish Chodesh Nisan. And then came a big Chiddush. What came a big Chiddush? Vayz Gimel. Not only Rish Chodesh Nisan, but every Rish Chodesh. Because every Rish Chodesh, which is the union of the Levana, is a union of Chiddush. As he brought from Rabbi Avram ben Ibn Izra, that the union of Chadoshim, of Levana, has Chiddush, but Chama does not have Chiddush. The Shemesh. So this union of Chiddush, of novelty, the biggest novelty is revelation of beyond nature and nature, is connected and expressed actually in every Rosh Chodesh, but the Klolos Achayis is Rosh Chodesh Nisan. We're missing something. What did he say in the second paragraph of his base? This is all based on the Maimar of the Rebbe Rashab Mamshech Levayer, in explaining the two Ifanim pointed out by the Baal HaKedah. You tell me, what is this? What's the two Ifanim? Yeah. So what's the two Ifanim?
One's through Avodah, one's
Yeah, one's natural, one's through Avodah. In the words that this, so they have a yichud chitzoni, a yichud pnimi.
Malchus, right?
You mentioned Malchus, yeah, that came later in the square bracket of the Shalah. This is the yichud of Chacham bin, and how do we explain that yesterday? What's between the yichud chitzoni and yichud pnimi? We gave an illustration. from everyday life.
Marriage relationship.
What?
Both only married for years.
Yeah. So what's what?
Dating it was in Yichud Chitzoni, meaning it doesn't require a Veda. It almost feels natural, more natural. It just goes. Whereas the Yichud Pnimi, this requires an Veda, which we compare to marriage.
Okay, I mean, you're not saying wrong, but I'm not saying anything that's not right, but missing a little bit here. Just explore the dating and the marriage.
Dating doesn't require bittul.
The other Rabbi.
On the other hand,
But not only it doesn't require bittul. There shouldn't be bittul. There shouldn't be bittul. So then why are you going out on the second and third date and continuing to? Because what are you trying to see? Whether what? Whether you're compatible, whether she fulfills you. And then comes the question, okay, now I can devote myself to you. But that devotion, that's yichud pnimi, which is avodah. So just hit the nail on the head here. So what's the avodah in the yichud pnimi? What is the avodah? It's a nice word. Okay.
Putting oneself aside for the kavanah, for what's needed from the person, the Indian.
Using the imagery of yichud pnimi. Yichud pnimi, yichud chitzoni, yichud pnimi. So the yichud pnimi happens to avodah, just a Gil student or even now Lakewood. A bocher from Lakewood's trying to understand what you're saying, no?
I think regardless of your yes and the other person's yes, you're coming in with each of what you bring to the table, and then you need to put that aside to work on the greater cause of the two of you being together. So that requires work.
Yeah. Okay, good, all good. The yichud pnimi is really allowing her in. You have to make space. To allow someone into your life, you have to make space for them. Meanwhile, it's full of me. And that's the natural way. And that's so what's the connection to Nes? But he says one is anarcha tivis and one's anarcha nisis. What are we saying therefore?
Because with that avodah comes the Nes.
What's the Nes?
With that, because like you said, 1 + 1 is 1.
That's right. That's a Nes. Marriage is a miracle. If it's a marriage worthy of its name. Two people that are very different. First of all, they're different genders. That's the first strike against them. Become one. And it needs constant work, like a Nes. True, this Teva also is constantly being created, but the Nes needs a constant revelation in a manifested way. As we see by Kriyas Yamsuf, the wind blew all night. A true Nes needs constant, not you just change the dynamic and now it goes on its own. Because that's not true. Shidud Maraches HaTeva. True Nes is you're not changing it. It's fundamentally impossible. And something fundamentally impossible needs a constant force. Creation Yesh Ma'ayin is fundamentally impossible, needs constant force. And a Nes also needs a constant force within, it's all contextual, within once creation is there.
Is that why we see, by the Nes, we see the bittul of the world? And the yichud pnimi by Teva, it's constantly still, but we don't see what's really behind it. Is that it?
Yeah, well, when the Nes happens, people are in awe. Not in awe of nature, unless you see something you don't usually see. If you see it all the time. Bemis is nature's also, and they just get used to it. The whole difference is we just get used to it. It's the famous Tashbitz. Just get used to it. Nature is the constant miracle. But Kopanim, just getting back to marriage, that marriage is a constant miracle. This is reflected in the famous Rogatchow, which we've shared. Famous Hachodesh, or a revelation of the Hachodesh in the end of marriage, that it's constantly being, that the Kiddushin happens every moment. It's unlike every other contract. Once you acquire something, you don't keep on being Hachodesh, your bailus. You acquired it once, it's yours. At marriage, in order to, every moment is Kiddushin. It's up in England. This answers many things. Many halachas, strange halachas in Kiddushin are answered because every second is Yitzchak. I forgot it was a Chaim. Someone on the Gedol Yisrael said to him, so if so, it's a mazel tov. Tak, every second it's a married couple, it's mazel tov. Why is it a constant miracle? It's a constant miracle, a constant work, constant avodah, constant ischachus, because the teva of teva is to take up space. That's the first teva of teva. Space gashmi, space ruchni. And here in my space, someone else is there. That's the biggest ness. Is to allow someone into your life, mamash, and become one, and be in their life. That's the ness. That's avodah. As you said yesterday, Taka, being in the presence of such a marriage is awesome. It should be, I forgot who this was said about. I mean, it should be every marriage. I think it was Josh Gordon. But you know, if they had a marriage over this couple is, it should be every couple. That if they're in the kitchen, yeah, but they're doing different things. He's washing the dishes and she's reading the newspaper. And somebody walks in, they feel like they're intruding. They're not even talking to each other. But it's an intrusion. Because there's a sanctity here. There's a Kodesh. What's Kodesh Hachodesh? Mokim Aron Einem and Amida. The Aron didn't take up space. Which is why the bedroom is called Kodesh Hachodesh, not the Abish's bedroom. This one is called Cheder Hamidas, Cheder Hamitos. In Tanakh, it's a story there. So you're in the presence of a couple, it's an intrusion. You tread lightly. Excuse me. Sorry. They have to invite you in. And then they'll let you in by closing the door, in a way, to their own intimacy. Or by you not just recognizing you can't cross the threshold anyway. You couldn't even get there. You have to close the door. Upon him, so it's a constantness, constant avodah. Now, Mana says it's a very big thing, a very practical thing. How you treat the relationship with this kind of sanctity and awe. So one physical manifestation is you do this, you don't call to the other person from the other room. Want to speak to your wife, you get up and go talk to her. Hello, and you summon she says a dog you call from a pet. Maybe your kids. No, your kids too, you can call. But the wife you don't summon. It's a simple thing. You try to implement, you see it makes a difference. Then there are marriages. Nowadays, I don't think such a you'd see this, but there's such reverence for each other, they never call each other by their name. That's just too casual, too intimate, both. Both too casual and too intimate. Someone else can call you by that name because it's just casual. It's external. That's how it used to be. We can learn a lot from it. Okay. So continuing now is Gimel. After the square brackets again, not going to repeat it because it's the Cheder, the whole twist, the Hoyer, another Inyan, Akopanim. He's saying that this Inyan, what Inyan? The Inyan that the Hachodesh ניסן is Inyan of Nisim. So this is true of Hachodesh B'chalal. When you continue now to explain that. See, the brackets again, I'm not going to go into the whole Inyan, but the brackets brings out that Chama is higher than Levana. And that's what we addressed yesterday. So now it's bringing out the mile of the Levana. That so the sun illuminates constantly, there's no change. So this is Ashbach Chitzonis. Yichud Chitzoni Shalitzorech Kiyam Ba'olamus. A Chitzonistic relationship doesn't have any ups and downs. Why doesn't it have any ups and downs?
Not affected by what's going on.
Yeah, not invested, not engaged, not this lavish in the other person's world, which has changes. So if it's always just the same, uniform, being mashpia, but never changing, it's because he's just emanating. You get it, you get it. You don't, but not invested in a pnimistic way. If the teacher is, the kids go through different moods and then times of the year, there's different kinds of challenges. The teacher is the same. So if they have a big derech eretz and a bit also good, the teacher can just be uniform or constant, and the kids would. But part of teaching is being slavish, and you've got to be sensitive to where the kids are. Not yesterday that style work, today not. But everything's going on in their lives. So the teacher is sensitive and has to adapt the teaching methodology. Certainly for different kids. That's much more challenging in the classroom. But there's a stam hashpah that's constant, giving the it's hashpah chitzonis. That's the cham. And that's good, but tzerech kim ba'olamus. Not good for relationships, but kim ba'olamus, to build the building, show up to work every day in the same way and hammer the bricks, that's good. Get emotional. Same thing every day, do your job. So that's good for what? Let's say but the light of the moon, so the moon is receiving. Here the focus is on the Makabel. So this is a chidush, first of all. It's not my light, I'm getting it from someone else. So Moira Lashba Pnimius, in order for that to be diskabel taka, that's Ashba Pnimius. And that's a Yichud Pnimi, Shanasya de Avoida Kanal. And that has to be only through Avoida in order to receive in the Pnimius Dikoif. And moreover, so what's coming out, he's saying here that the avodah or the chiddush is both ways. Even the chamba, the mashpia is giving when it's a yichud pnimi, and it's got to be because the makabel wants it to. That's the emphasis that itself is part of the avodah, the mashpia to be ma'ir by the makabel, the desire for the yichud pnimi. So then the result is that their connection is not stam chama, but the ma'anim ishtalshalus, the chama, the mashpia itself receives and unlocks, this is a very important point, a deeper investure than it normally would express. Now, is this idea familiar to you? It should be, very. This last thing, this toisvus mitzad the mashpia. Dear friends, that's right. Hachodesh. At Malchus, the Makabel, sigh of relief.
I say we have to learn that again.
It's a fundamental maimer. It's a fundamental maimer. So, I mean, there's two things. When you said the maimer before the chuppah, the ikir is not on the Havana Vasoga so much. Because mamash delikus going to the chuppah. But on the other hand, after the chassan, now you got to learn it and understand. There's a vote from the, I think, from the Rebbe Rashab. That's a pity. You heard the vote ever? It's a pity that the union of chuppah and so on is given to children. We're young when we get married. So the Rogachover helps us, and the Rebbe reveals it. No, Take. It's every second is the Kedusha. So we can, as we get older, our appreciation of the privilege, of the miracle of it all, the likus of it all, deepens. And it's not a bad idea, mamish, to mizman the zaman to learn the chasna maim. I'm lucky I teach it mizman the zaman, so I get to learn it again. My kids, anyway, I taught it to my kids, nephews. God, my grandchildren. Also, the etzem schost about the Hazeh, about to go to the chuppah with the words of the Maimon on your lips. That's as we all know, the Maimon is the invitation to the Bala Maimon, the author of the Maimon, to accompany you. Okay, let's continue. And this is HaChodesh Lochem. For you, this singing of the Toisvus that is Nimshach through the Mashpia. The Makabel is Ma'ir by the Mashpia, a whole new essential level that the Mashpia only gets when the Mashpia is ready to be Mashpia Naif and Pnimi, which means putting self aside from the Mashpia and getting involved in the life of the Makabel. This unlocks in the Mashpia Toisvus Oyer. That's mystical level. Hide in Ishtalshus, meaning hide in his own conscious limits. So so holding in of Hachodesh, of the month, which is connected to the moon, is Shaykh Yisrael Dafke. This is Eden. That were compared to the Levana, as the Gemara says. Sol Doimim Levana. Even Shadevidosam, Nasi Nachidush, Eden through the Avodah, make the Chidush, they reveal in creation the Abish to beyond creator. They reveal in creation his very panemius to them and to creation. That's Pnimius. Pnimius Evelikos, the Yichud Pnimi. Yeah, we're clear. Let's continue together because יש לעשות בזה שעיקר החידוש שנעשה דוד עושים של ישראל החידוש הזה לכם. So the Ikar Chidush that's affected by Yid Nachodesh Zelachem for you, Loidak Amshach Haser Shalmai Mishtal Shalos. I was already emphasizing the fusion, but he's spelling it out now. So not only is it, actually it wasn't, no, good. Not only is the Amshacha of Haydn Shtalshas and Organisis, this is the big point. Sha'oy Shalmai Mishtal Shalos Nimshach Umeir Beseder Shtal Shalos Guf. That which is higher than Ishtalshalos is drawn into the nitty-gritty of Ishtalshalos, the nitty-gritty of life. The ultimate is the fusion of the two, of Cham and Levana. Of Nes and Teva. Lahamshich HaNes b'Teva Gufa. That means in a marriage that the simplest things, everyday engagements, the casual conversation, the simplest from the biggest, it's all permeated with this awe and wonder of, it's all expressive of this miraculous oneness, not just in grand moments, in the obvious moments of yichud, but in the casual, even there's just a different way that they talk to each other about the same thing. They talk, and they will say that about the same subject to somebody else. It's not the same. You know the words of the subject is the same. You go here, bring this powder. So when that is drawn, the yichud pnimi is expressed in teva and the smallest gestures and moments and details of life. This is higher than the nes itself, the pure yichud, which is higher than teva. Like we see by Kriyas Yamsov, shazen them by Loshen kosher. Loshen Chazal is that Taka Zivugim, what we're talking about. The Eibishter Mezavik Zivugim is as difficult as Kriyas Yamsov. Anything difficult for the Eibishter? What's the difficulty? The difficulty is, as it were, Shakushi Bezehu. God can do anything. That's not difficult. The miraculous component per se. But that this miracle permeates nature. This is difficult because the Eibishter, as it were, created nature with its rules that says me, finished. 1 on 1 is 2, not 1. So that nature should remain nature and still be 1 on 1 is 1. That's koishi. That's the difficulty because it's not respecting Beishis Boralikim per se, which is also a divine rule, a divine law. Seidish Talshus is divine. So what's it's not the Nes thing. Al Mitzad Amshachas Nes B'Tev. And so again, Kosher Kriyas Yamsov is Zivugim, is marriage. That's the. So where do we see in Kriyas Yamsov? Kriyas Yamsov how you gilu l'mayin l'miseder ishtalshalos b'seder ishtalshalos. There was a revelation beyond ishtalshalos, but it was in the world. Achin is battle seder anhogas ishtalshalos. So in creation down here, shahafach yom layabosh. The ocean itself becomes dry land. That's the fusion of the revealed world, which is the dry land, and Alma Disgalia, Alma Disgasia, the sea, the hidden world, and Alma Disgalia, the hidden world. It's not, the diuk here is, it's not that the sea was removed, finished, no more sea. That's one thing. The sea remains the sea, but the sea becomes dry land. That's the diuk. That's the fusion of Alma Disgalia and Alma Disgasia, or is he saying the Nes in Teva itself? So there's still the sea here. A lot of the sea is being banished, dismissed, but the sea is now dry land. Yeah. Having said what we did, that the Chiddush is not just thinking of ניסן per se, but the Hachodesh is Lochem, that it should be drawn into Teva, as we said, again, in a marriage, and in the Chassid's life. You don't just see he's a Chassid when he's davening. He's FARBRENGEN, he's learning a Maamar, Chassid. You see the same chassid out there in this business world. That's the Ma'alim HaTeva and Teva in the details. He's the same chassid. You see this, you see the mystery, the awe, the wonder, even in the Kedusha, the sanctity, the bittul, even in the most casual things, most ordinary, everyday things. There's an edelkeit, there's a refinedness about him. That's avodah. That's the real avodah. Not so much when he's davening. Okay, putting the world aside, shutting it out, drawing the blinds, talis over the head. Chassid. Yeah. So this will explain what he continues there in the Maimon Perigem Gimel and Daled of the Rebbe Rashab. This is 70 years, right? Since the Maimon of the Rebbe Rashab upon which this is based. So this explains what he says, goes on to say as follows. In the Yichud Shemesh V'Siyara, he talks about the Yichud of the sun and the moon. Why is he talking about the Yichud? We bring out all the Maila of the Yerech of the moon. That's a Pnimi Dike Yichud. Lochem Shemesh Yitomed B'Shoven, unlike the sun, that the output is constant and the same. That it's external and that's what creates. So the focus here is on the Levana per se. Why does he have to mention, in focusing on the Maila of Avodah, which is the Avodah of Yidden, our months, our year is a lunar calendar, why is he stressing that he gets it from the Shemesh? So, as we're saying, Shakavon bezehi levayer. Rabbi Rashab wants to underscore Shachidush Nasa Davidosim Shel Yisrael, the Chidush of the Avodah of Yidden, Uloirak Amshachnas Abchilas Shalamayla Mishtalshlus, and Hoganisis, and that's what's unique to the Levana. It's renewed. Pasha Begashmi is he thought it's gone, it's renewed, it's connected to higher. Malchus is Mushrish. It's not enough to say that Malchus is Mushrish and Pnimis HaKesed. No, Malchus transforms even the Mashpia. So, the Shemesh. Which is what the Shemesh produces. Not just a connection to the transcendent, but this fuses with nature, as we explained. Okay, we won't rush it. We'll finish the last paragraph tomorrow, and then begin the first Maimer of Shabbos HaGodol. There are two Maimor in that Shabbos as well. And the second one was mamish connected to Yud Aleph and ניסן. So there's two Farbrengens with the two Mamarim in each one. Okay, Yidden, Be'ez Hashem.